Story 1. Original post. Am I the a-hole here for not giving my girlfriend my social security number so she can run a background check on me? I, 27 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, 31 female, for almost a year now. This evening she sat me down and said she needs to have a serious conversation with me, and she asked for my social security number. I said absolutely not. Why would you need that? And she told me about her ex-boyfriend that was basically living a double life. He had a bunch of criminal charges in his past that he'd never told her about, and eventually exposed her to some sketchy and dangerous behavior before she broke things off after he cheated. I said, okay, thank you for telling me that, but what does that have to do with my social security number? She said ever since then, she's had her friend that works for the federal government run background checks on people to make sure they're safe, and because our relationship is progressing, she needs to know I'm a safe partner for her, so she wants my social security number to check my criminal history. Now, for the record, I don't even have a parking ticket. I'm a nerd and a gym rat. All I do is work, go to school, play Dungeons and Dragons, come home, watch anime, rinse and repeat, so I don't care about a background check. She won't find anything. But I'm not giving out my SSN. I don't feel comfortable enough providing that to her friend. When I said that, she got upset and said, I don't understand what women go through and it's about safety. And I admitted she's right. I have no idea what women go through. But that doesn't mean I'm giving my SSN out to a complete stranger. She says he isn't a stranger. He's one of her best friends and married to a close friend of hers. And I said, honey, that's great, but I don't know him. I don't trust him because I don't know him. That's my information you're asking for. You can trust him with your personal information if you want, but no one I don't know is getting my SSN or critical details. It's just not happening. And she said that our relationship isn't going to be able to progress unless I give him my SSN because she needs to know that she's safe, and she's offended that I don't trust her taste in friends. I got up and left at that point and told her I respect her concerns, but her past trauma doesn't give her the right to try and strong-arm me into giving out sensitive information to someone I don't know, just because he works for the federal government and has access to a database. I used to work for the federal government, so I can say from experience, everyone working there isn't some wonderful person. I'm not assuming he's a monster or anything, but just working for the feds doesn't prove anything to me. She called me insensitive and hasn't spoken to me since. Personally, I feel like she was gaslighting me into giving her what she wants, but I'm not sure. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. I just had a background check completed. I've had them every 5-ish years for the last 20 because I volunteer with children. Some in state, some federal. I also have been screened by the Gov for a permit several times. I have never had to provide a social security number. Sadly, I think your girlfriend may the criminal and you may be her long con mark. That's what I'm saying. You don't need the SSN to run a good background check these days. Everything is there online. Jail records and court documents are free. All you need is the city, name, and date of birth to find everyone's criminal history with pictures to prove it's really them. Her government friend is committing a felony, not the a-hole. You want no part of this. Right. I should trust my SSN with someone who commits felonies by abusing their federal access to records? Nope. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You don't even know if she's telling you the truth. She should be stealing your SSN for all you know. Run. Run away. Clearly, she isn't willing to address her trust issues. She needs therapy. Assuming everyone is a criminal and you need proof otherwise is incredibly toxic. Wait, so a year in, she doesn't trust you and needs a background check run? That's acceptable? Necessary, okay? Yet you not giving your SSN to a random stranger doing something illegal is you not trusting her, and not acceptable, okay? The fuff backwards logic is that? Not the a-hole. I wonder if she has already searched and found nothing, so now she thinks the lack of information is some kind of deeply hidden crimes. At this point, she knows OP's full name, date of birth, phone number, probably multiple past locations. That's definitely enough information to at least look up public criminal records. I'm able to find out stuff sometimes just with a first name and some time on social media. This guy's record is too clean. It's been scrubbed. He probably works for a 3-letter agency and is under deep cover. Crazy friend in the federal government who is willing to break the law to look up info for OP's girlfriend for some reason. and may or may not actually exist. I'd 100% want to meet the friend and then immediately report him. I argued with a lady in a local Facebook group who worked for a law firm locally. Whenever she was losing an argument, she used whatever system they had to look people up and spill their crap online to win. Funny enough, due to working at a larger law firm locally, I had rubbed shoulders with a lot of attorneys there. I was just an assistant, but I went out and partied with the attorneys a lot. Contacted her boss, and she ended up getting fired once I showed all the screenshots I had of her posting stuff only a background check would pull up. Also turns out IT could see all the checks she ran. She tried to make me feel bad since she was a mom with kids, but don't do that crap on the clock using company time and money, especially to win a Facebook argument. It's simple. Update. After reading the comments I've been getting over the last few days, I decided to call her on New Year's Eve and give things one last chance because I'm the type of person that needs to know I did everything I could before I walk away from a relationship. And some people said she has valid concerns. She just went about them the wrong way, which made sense. I told her I understand and respect your need to ensure your safety, but I'm not willing to potentially compromise my safety to make you feel safe by handing over my social security number to someone I don't know and don't trust. And it's illegal for him to even use a federal database for personal reasons. So that's out. But what I will do is pay for a background check of your choosing, so long as it's a legitimate service, and give you the results. I will not be providing my social security number to anyone, but my address, date of birth, etc. are all fair game. She refused and said that she has chosen a background check, and that's having her friend do it because she knows that she can trust him. So I said, if that's how you feel and you won't budge, then the issue here is trust, and I'm not willing to stay in a relationship with a woman that doesn't trust me because of some crap that doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm not paying for another man's sins, and I'm not giving you my social security number because your ex was a criminal. She started crying and asking why I can't understand that it's not about me, it's about her. And I said you made it about me when you asked for my SSN. She got pissed and started accusing me of lying about caring about her safety and saying if I really cared, then I'd have no problem doing this because I don't understand how vulnerable women are in society. So I said I was willing to work with you up to a reasonable point, but now you're just trying to manipulate me, and I don't feel safe being with you anymore. Because if this is how you react when you don't get your way about having my SSN, what happens the next time we have a major disagreement or a serious situation come up? Are you going to keep crying to try and get your way, or throw out another ultimatum to try and force me into doing what you want? She started saying that as a man, I can't understand what it's like to go through life as a woman and have to be afraid, and that this is what she has to do for her safety and security, and I need to just respect that and give her what she needs for her comfort. I was like, I tried to compromise, you wouldn't accept it, there's nothing more to say here. And to be clear, I wasn't exactly calm. I have severe anxiety, so this was a really hard conversation for me to have. I was actively pacing around my house and sweating and forcing words out the entire time. Then she started crying and asking about New Year's, because we were supposed to spend it with her parents. I said you should have thought about that before you tried to strong-arm me into getting your way. This isn't a "and everyone stood up and applauded" moment. That's just how things went. I hung up and now we're over. Obviously I'm hurt, but I'm realizing I dodged a bullet because there's no reason things should have gotten this effing messy. And before anyone tries to jump me in the comments, again, I offered to pay for the check. She refused because it wasn't the test she wanted. I feel like I made a good faith effort to resolve things. Hate to ring in the new year without a kiss under the mistletoe, but it is what it is. I don't know if she really is that concerned I'm some lunatic criminal, or if she's trying to scam me like a lot of you said. Either way, it's over now. Now for the comments. As a woman, I don't understand her need for a social security number, LOL. Good riddance, and Happy New Year. Exactly. There's no good reason for her to need his SSN. Her insistence is so odd. He even offered to use a background check service and give her the report. The fact that she only wanted his SSN so that her friend could misuse his access to federal databases is so shady. Good riddance to her. OP, you're better off without this one. If you know which friend she was gonna have run the background check, report him to his employer because he's 100% gonna get investigated and likely fired for misusing personal information. There's no friend. She was going to take out a loan in his name and/or get some credit cards to max out. She was trying to scam him. OP should freeze his credit profile at the major credit bureaus. Actually, everyone should. You can temporarily unfreeze online in minutes when needed. I've been doing this since the Equifax breach. Definitely smart to freeze your credit. Scams can happen to anyone, and protecting your info should be a priority. Better safe than sorry in situations like this. Because if this is how you react when you don't get your way about having my SSN, what happens the next time we have a major disagreement or a serious situation come up? Are you going to keep crying to try and get your way or throw out another ultimatum to try and force me into doing what you want? This right here, OP, you nailed it. And I know it's hard right now, but you just dodged years of manipulation and ultimatums. A good resolution for 2025. Yeah, I was so happy to see him say this. He knows he dodged a bullet. Change your locks if she has a key. She doesn't sound like the type to accept this without it being on her terms. Good for you. You got off to a rocky start offering to pay for someone to investigate yourself, which you should never have done, but everything else you handled perfectly. You should be very proud of yourself for withstanding that exhausting barrage of bullcrap from her. She really threw every toxic trick at you. Gaslighting, crocodile tears, gender card, family card. You ruined the holidays. If you really love me, you deserve so much better than her and the hopeless prison of a life you and your kids would have with her. And by keeping your self-respect, you now get to pursue the life and loving partner you deserve. P.S. I hope you saved records of her insanity. If and when she tries more bullcrap, having evidence of her admitting to committing many crimes and planning to commit another one on you will be very useful in telling her to F off. My first thought was that she really did throw every card at OP to get what she wants, which only further proves to OP that breaking up was the right thing to do before it got messy. He had the foresight to anticipate what she would do or say and hit every excuse back at her. If this is legitimate, then Reddit probably helped OP from avoiding a train wreck because people here are fast to throw every possible theory for OP to prepare for. If you stuck with her, you'd probably be writing a new post in a few months asking if you're the a-hole for being mad that your girlfriend opened a credit card in your name and ran it up. But she cried and said she needed the money, and you'd understand if you really loved her. Story 2. Am I the a-hole here for being uncomfortable with my fiancé, female 21, going on a trip with her, 29 male, best friend? My fiancé, female 21, who I am marrying in 3 months, is currently on a trip with her best friend, male 29, and I am stuck alone at home, just thinking non-stop about it. To preface, we have been in a bit of a rough patch over the holidays. During Thanksgiving, I looked over my fiancé's shoulder to see that she was texting her guy best friend about our sex life. When I brought it up, it was in a half-joking manner, but it got across I was uncomfortable with it. She shut down on me. I felt pretty abandoned in that moment, as she instantly went to that guy best friend to talk about it, as I once again saw her texting from over her shoulder. Starting it off with, apparently OP is pissed about us talking about sex. About 20 minutes of laying in bed not talking to each other, we talked it over, and she said she wouldn't do it again now that she knew I was uncomfortable with it. In September, she had discussed going on a trip to Vegas as a couples trip with her, me, her guy best friend, and his girlfriend, female 28. I was fine with this, and was excited to go. I took the appropriate days off work, and was looking forward to it. Later on, she said that plane ticket prices were up more than she could afford. She works in aviation, so she's more knowledgeable than me about this kind of stuff. And the trip would just be her and her guy friend. This was before the incident on Thanksgiving, so I saw no issue. Fast forward to this past week, I had told her that just her and him going on the trip would make me uncomfortable. She said she wouldn't go if I was uncomfortable with it, but they had gotten a room with 2 separate beds and had set ground rules. I didn't want to be controlling, so I said they should still go on the trip because I didn't want my insecurity to ruin their good time. Now that they just got there today, the reality of the situation set in for me. I told my family about it because they could tell I was upset, and they all said they wouldn't be comfortable if they were in my situation. I know that them going on the trip was partially my doing, given I gave the okay. I just feel like telling her that she can't do it again when she gets back, 'cause I know if the shoe was on the other foot and I went on a trip alone with a female, she would be super upset. Not sure what to do, as I am considering postponing the wedding because of this. My family told me to make a Reddit post to get some insight, so here I am. Thanks for reading. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole here? Yikes. Yeah, this is not appropriate. I can't imagine anyone who would be comfortable with this. I have to wonder what his girlfriend thinks about it. Why is she talking about her sex like to a male friend? This whole thing is a giant red flag. I agree. This situation is a red flag. It's weird to talk about your relationship with someone of the opposite sex, especially when boundaries are crossed. It's definitely not something anyone should feel comfortable with. Not the a-hole, not the a-hole. You should not be marrying anyone who would plan a couple's trip and then cut out the significant others so that they can go alone together to Vegas. A woman who loved her fiancé would not do that. She has an inappropriate relationship with this guy. She has no business talking to him about your sex life. She sounds immature and definitely not ready for marriage. Agreed. I won a trip to Vegas once, and instead of taking my boyfriend, I took my son. Why? Because the boyfriend had intimacy issues, and I'd resent him on a trip like that. I broke up with him a couple months later, whereas my son, who is autistic, would benefit more from the trip. We had so much fun doing all the free dinners and shows that also came with the trip, as well as a day trip to Hoover Dam that I found discounted in Groupon. Not the a-hole. Let's be real. A Vegas trip with her guy best friend while you're stuck at home? Not exactly the hallmark of a solid pre-wedding vibe. Sure, you said okay, but only because you didn't want to look controlling. Now you're left stewing while she's playing slots with ground rules. Postponing the wedding to rethink things? Smart move. Marriage shouldn't start with a side of trust issues. Not the a-hole. So purely platonic friends don't need ground rules, let alone text about sex behind their partners' backs or go on solo trips, especially at the expense of their significant other. You should be going to Vegas. She is choosing him over you, which is, I think, telling you everything you need to know about the situation. When she finds you went to Vegas with a woman for a week, see how much she is still good with the marriage going forward when she gets back. If either of you are okay with this, you are both insane.
Thank you for listening. If you like the video, consider like and subscribe. If you want more stories like these, turn on your notification to receive the latest stories.